Well, let's now speak to Geoffrey Nice, who's a human rights lawyer. He previously worked at the UN's International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia as the former lead prosecutor of Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. As we heard there, almost 1,000 people from Srebrenica are still missing. For families who still don't know what happened to their loved ones, can there be justice without truth and restitution?
No, not really. And I observed or heard you say how those who know where the other mass graves are won't reveal them. It's despicable that they don't open their mouths and tell the truth before they themselves die, luckily for them, of natural causes. So no complete justice.
And 30 years on, only a handful of top commanders have been convicted, and many of those who carried out the killings remain free. The people that did the killing, the ones that dug the graves, most of them are still walking around. Do you think international justice system failed the people of Srebrenica?
I think there are 2 points there. In any big conflict, trying everyone who is culpable is probably an impossible dream. Second, has justice been done at all by the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, and if so, is it satisfactory? Some justice has been done, because many of the trials that have reached conclusions have not ultimately been challenged and will set a record of value to victims and others. Is that justice satisfactory? In my view, not. Not just because not everyone has been brought to book, but because the complete story has not been told. And the complete story has not been told because of things done by Western powers who should have been doing better. First, at the end of the conflict, they should have made it clear that the Serbs were the guilty ones and the Bosnian Muslims were not guilty. Individual Bosnian Muslims may have committed crimes, but it should have been made clear they were the victim group. And instead of that, that's never been done, for a reason I'll come to. And of course, in consequence, when Bosnian Muslims have lost their homes and houses, they haven't been able to go back to them, all sorts of other things. One of the major reasons why the truth has never been acknowledged in full by the West is because they're responsible for what happened in Srebrenica. In May of 1995, Great Britain and France, Prime Minister Major and President Chirac, asked President Clinton not to use air power to defend Srebrenica. He agreed, and that was a quiet so-called agreement, i.e. they didn't tell anybody else that air power would not be used. And so on the night of the 10th of July, when the Dutch Foreign Ministry asked for bombs to be delivered, and it was promised that they would be, on the morning of the 11th, they didn't come. And those bombs might have saved those 8,000 plus men and women. And this was the subject of a cover-up for a long time. It wasn't revealed until the documents emerged in about 2013 from President Clinton's library. So overall, apart from the wickedness of the Bosnian Serbs and of Serbia itself, which has not been adequately recorded in findings, the West has a lot to answer for. Overall result, Bosnian Muslims do not stand in the way, for example, Jewish people of concentration camps or victims of Nazi bombing do not stand as innocent. And that's a great unfairness and injustice to them.
Given your experience, Geoffrey Nice, what do you think current institutions like the ICC need to urgently fix in order to deliver meaningful justice, especially in ongoing atrocities like those in Gaza, for example?
They need to fix by being helped. Countries should not just fund them, but they should give them real support in the good work that they are able to do. To give you the clearest example, when Hamas was willing in 2015 to be investigated for what had happened in the war that had happened in 2014, Operation Protective Edge, obstacles were put in the way of the court by the United States of America and by Mossad from Israel. Now, if every effort had been made by Great Britain, Germany, everybody else to back the investigation to which Hamas was willing to submit, 2023 might never have happened. What these courts need, this court in particular needs, is full support, unquestioning support in terms of high-level personality and money in the work it does.
So Geoffrey Nice, if I may, because we're running out of time, I just wanted to ask you perhaps a more personal question as someone who spent years inside the UN legal system and as someone who was the lead prosecutor in the tribunal. How do you reconcile the idea of having made history with Milosevic's prosecution with the enduring sense of injustice that many of the survivors of Srebrenica still feel today?
I don't think you can reconcile a sense of injustice when it is justified. If they choose to feel that the organs provided by the world are not doing well enough, you can't necessarily reconcile them. What you must do is be understanding of and sympathetic to the victims. You must also, I think, try and explain to them where and why and how things went wrong. And in Bosnia, that's doubly difficult, because the Bosnian government itself has not done what it should do to reach a better verdict about genocide in Srebrenica, which is a hopelessly poor judgment from the International Court of Justice. And the government should have served its people better by doing everything it could to have, when it could have done, that judgment revised to show that the genocide, assuming genocide is the correct verdict, and I don't doubt that, didn't just happen in a few days in 1995. It happened for years, from 93 to 95. And that is one of the most important corrections of the judicial legal history that should be made by the world through the International Court of Justice, if possible. Otherwise, by states like our own revealing what they actually know and standing behind the Bosnian Muslims full square.
Thank you so much, Sir Geoffrey Nice, for sharing your experience with us. Thank you for joining us on Al Jazeera.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.